Hi everybody. This lesson is to introduce you to SPSS and the dataset that we're going to be working with a lot this semester, called the Quality of Life Dataset. So SPSS stands for Statistical Package for the Social Sciences, and in order to access SPSS, you're going to need to use something called the virtual desktop. The virtual desktop, I've got a link to it on our Canvas page. You can click there, or you can just go to mydesktop.queens.edu. I was logged in here a minute ago, so it let me skip the login screen, but you log in using your Queens credentials. So we're going to go to Student General Use, and it always does this to me. No matter how many times I sign in, it tries to tell me I'm doing something dangerous, but I'm not. Now, what happens here is, within your browser, you are opening up a computer desktop like what's in one of the computer labs on campus. All right, so this is, within this browser, you have an entire computer. And it's taking it a minute to think. Just like if you had a computer that was starting up, it would take it a minute to log in. So if you see down here, this is just like if this whole thing was within your browser. To get to programs, you click this in here. So within this browser then, you got to sign into Canvas. Because what happens in this browser, it's like, you know, Las Vegas, what happens in this browser stays in this browser. So what you have going on in this window will not work in here, and vice versa. So if you copy something to the desktop, if you copy something within here, you can't paste it out here. So we need to open up Canvas within this browser. So we have to open a browser within a browser. And go to our course page. And if you want to open up just plain old SPSS, you can get to it here. Most of the time, though, you'll be opening up a data set that I'm giving you. And I've got the Quality of Life data set listed under Files, Data Sets. All right, and we will open up this file. The Quality of Life data set is a lot of variables about Charlotte neighborhoods. So each row in this data set represents a neighborhood. And it's got a lot of characteristics compiled from several different sources. And I'll show you more about that as we go through the course. But for right now, I just want to focus on SPSS. So within here, we've got the data view and the variable view. And within the data view, you can see variable names up at the top and the values down here. Under variable view, if you click on variable view, you can see a list of all the variable names. And these are pretty descriptive. Some of them have variable labels as well. I'm not sure why this label is there, but so this data set has just 40 variables. That's because those are just the most recent values that are available for some of the common variables that we use. Later in the semester, I may give you a a more complete version, because there are some of these that you can track over time. So a couple things that matter here. We got the labels, we talked about the variable names, the type. These all say numeric, even though a couple of them are not. That's because some of these that are actually nominal level are coded numerically. So community, you can see over here there's Charlotte, there's Pineville, Matthews, some of the other ones. If you want to see what the codes are, you can just go here under View and turn off the value labels. And it'll show you what those numeric codes are. Or you can turn them back on. Okay. If you want to see what everything represents, for ones that are nominal, that are coded numerically, here under Values, it'll show you, and you just have to click in the box in this thing with the ellipses. And it'll show you that 1 is Charlotte, 2 is Matthews, 3 is Pineville, etc. There's just one more thing I would want to show you about type. And, you know, there's different ones. The one we're going to see the most commonly is numeric. You may see string once in a while. That's just characters that are not meant to be numeric. So that's if we wanted to just put in a name or something. All right, so this is just what SPSS looks like. There are these things up at the top. Most of what we're going to do is going to be under Analyze. So let me show you how to do something really simple here. Say we wanted to calculate the mean area of a neighborhood. And by the way, we might need to look up what area represents. I think this is square yards or acres. I think it's acres, but we could look. I've got what's called a data dictionary that we can look these up in. Yeah, this is acres. So anyway, if we wanted to see the mean acreage of Charlotte neighborhoods, we go to Analyze, Descriptive Statistics, and the one we're going to use is Explore. Explore does things that some of the other ways to get means won't do. So we'll go to Explore, and we're going to take our area variable and move it into Dependent List. You can do that either by clicking the arrow, or you can just drag the variable over. And we want to look right now just at the statistics. We'll look at plots later on, but for now we'll just look at statistics. And this shows you the valid percent. Tells you that we've got 462 neighborhoods in Charlotte that had a valid value for the acreage. None of them were missing. All right, so 462 neighborhoods in Charlotte. That would be our sample. Actually, it's our population because we have data on all of the neighborhoods. So if we look down here, among other things, we've got the mean. So this tells us that in Charlotte, the mean neighborhood has 725 acres in it. It also tells us the median and some other things, some of which we're going to see later on in the course, and some are just beyond the scope of the course. So that's under Analyze, Descriptive Statistics, Explore. And I want to show you one other thing while we're here. This is very useful. If we go back to Explore, suppose we want to compare within the city limits versus outside the city limits. So this is our city limits variable. And let's move it over to the factor list. Now, we have to be careful here and not to switch these. You always want to put your numeric variable in the dependent list and then your nominal level variable in the factor list. Okay, if you get those mixed up, it's going to look weird. So we'll click OK. And that's going to let us compare that. So we can see outside the city limits that the average area is 1,170.27 acres, whereas within the city limits, it's 623.27 acres. So that tells us that it looks like the neighborhoods outside the city limits are a little more spread out than the ones that are inside the city limits. Okay, so that's kind of our first calculation that we might want to see. The last thing I'll show you in this video is something you're going to want to do for all of your assignments where you use SPSS. I'm going to want to see your output, your SPSS output. Now remember, if you copy something inside this window, you can't paste it outside. So there's two ways that I think are the easiest. And if you know how to do a screen grab on your computer, mine is just a print screen button on my computer. I just hit this button, print screen, and Control V. And it pastes it right within that Word document. The other thing you can do is close my last time I used this, is you can use something called the snipping tool. To get to it, you can just search for snipping tool. And the snipping tool just allows you to take a screen grab of just part of your screen. A student showed me how to use the snipping tool a couple years ago, and I think I've used it just about every day since then. So you just click New and then draw a box around what you want, and then Control V into your Word document, and that looks really nice. All right, so that's it for this lesson. If you have any questions, I'm always around and happy to talk with you about that. I'll see you soon.